broadcasting live from 28 degree downtown Cleveland. It's station WDWL TV, home of not one, but 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And back by popular demand, the Grumpy Jackalope. And back by popular demand, your host, Grumpy Stern. Oh, you asshole. And our show is brought to you by Grumpy Vulture Productions. That's it. See you, bye. Man, you talk about being pissed off. First of all, I have to lose these sunglasses. Can't see shit out of them. Okay, let's get some glasses on here that we can see out of. So, I see Kathy and Rudy are here, and I wasn't expecting anyone else, so like I said yesterday, I got that court subpoena that said your appearance could be optional. I had called the prosecutor and I said, yeah, I think I'm going to opt out of the optional. Well, this morning I had second thoughts and logged into Zoom and into the courtroom where I sat for 1 hour and 35 minutes after they had heard all the cases. So then the bailiff said, we will now have the no-shows. She calls the first name, bench warrant. She calls the second name, bench warrant. She calls the third name, bench warrant. She calls the fourth name, bench warrant. She calls my asshole. We will continue this for 1 more week. And I went, what? And the judge didn't look too favorably on that. And she said, Mr. Grumpy, you have something to say? I said, yeah, this whole thing has been a goddamn joke. I said, I'm not going to get a damn thing out of it. It's a nothing case. And she goes, well, I wouldn't consider it that. I said, well, for me, it's a nothing case. I'm not going to get a dime out of this. She goes, well, you could get restitution. I said, yeah, and the prosecutor informed me that in order to get restitution, I have to fix the truck. I'm not putting $550 in a vehicle that I might get $100 for junk. And I'm tired of coming in here and the goddamn defendant not showing. So then the prosecutor chimes in from the back and says, well, you know, we can discuss this. I said, Judge, I've had 3 different prosecutors. I've left voicemails on all 3 of their phones. No one bothers to call me back. So, of course, with the prosecutor being in court in front of the judge, he tells me he will be calling me tonight, but from a blocked number. I said, I don't answer blocked numbers. Can you kind of narrow it down as to when you're going to call? Well, between 5 and 7. As of right now, it's 7:06 and no phone call. I have just utterly had enough of this bullshit. I ain't showing up next week. They can send me all the court subpoenas they want. I am not showing up. Because I let the judge know, I said, the state of Ohio could give a shit if people have insurance. People have their license revoked, but they drive anyway until they get caught. And then they drive anyway after they get caught. I said, this whole thing is a joke. He had no insurance, no license. He was drunk. And I said, on top of it, they turned the car over to his wife, knowing it was uninsured. And the prosecutor in the background kept saying, we're not trying the case here, mister. We're not trying the case here. I said, I wanted this on the record. Because I'm not coming back. I've had enough. This thing has just got dragged out and dragged out and dragged out because this asshole refuses to show up for court. And then when they should have issued a bench warrant, they continue it for another week. Well, they're going to continue it without me. Plain and simple. Because I sat here for an hour and 35 minutes listening to all those stupid court cases. And then he's a no-show. Which I had the suspicion when they kept, call another case. I was scheduled for 10:30. They bring me into the courtroom at 10:25. I'm figuring, okay, first case up. Not. And then, I'll tell you what. You talk about a goddamn lenient judge waiving this charge and waiving that fee and waiving this, I'm like, no wonder the goddamn city of Cleveland's fucking broke. Waive court costs, waive the fine, There was one ticket, I can't remember what it was for. It was a $175 ticket. She reduced the charge to $25, then put the guy on a payment plan for $25? What a crock of bullshit. Salute, Kathy. Then I got my new drugs today. I never heard of this shit. It's called Proquin XR. Proquin XR. So I decide to look up Proquin XR on drugs.com or WebMD or one of them. Holy shit! This shit's got more side effects than every drug in the pharmacy. Jesus Christ, I'm reading and reading and reading and reading. I'm like, they ever going to go away? Then, here's the scary part. It says, this drug is used for anthrax or the plague. Holy yatchafuck. And then the scary thing one of the side effects can cause swelling or tearing of the Achilles tendon. Also, it can damage your aorta. Oh boy! That's a scary one. I'm like, holy shit. The list of side effects had to be that long. I'm scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and holy shit. This shit's scary. Then it says the last side effect could cause suicidal tendencies. Oh boy. Another one I need. Jesus Christ. Sometime I think maybe WebMD is not the best place to look for shit. Man, this shit's got every side effect except causing your car to stall on the freeway. This shit's scary. Used for anthrax or the plague. Oh, wonderful. The doctor was right when he said, oh, this one's triple strength. Yeah. I wonder if it'll make hemorrhoids go away. Oh, I gotta show you something. This is what I wake up to next to me in bed every single morning. SpongeBob SquarePants. Every morning. And there's two of them. And both of them are in bed with me. I don't know what it is about these and my cat. 9,000 cat toys. I get these in bed every morning. Every single. I've even hid these things. He finds them and then brings them in and puts them in the bed. Every day. Every single day. You know, I was thinking about something earlier today. You know, as I watch this generation try and rewrite our history, one thing I'm sure of, it will be misspelled and have no punctuation. Take that one to the bank. A lot of truth there. I was listening to some of these adults talk in court. I couldn't figure out what half of them were saying. The one guy said I accidentally caused a severe injury to my brother, dragging him down the stairs because he was having an athletic fit. I was like, athletic fit? Was he exercising too much? Yeah. He was having an athletic fit. And the judge didn't correct him. You would think the judge said, do you mean an epileptic seizure? No. I accidentally injured my brother dragging him down the stairs because he was having an athletic fit. The drivel that came out of people's mouths was unbelievable. More mispronunciation of words than I've heard in a lifetime. Of course, the one I always like is they don't say ambulance. It sounds more like avalanche or ambulance. I need an ambulance. And I had to sit through an hour and 35 minutes of that shit, only for this asshole to be a no-show again. And have you heard my phone ring? Nope. Because that asshole won't call me. It almost makes me want to go into Zoom court next week and tell the judge, just like I told you, nobody bothers to call the victim. Because I'll tell you what, that asshole called me. I was going to unload on him, and I think he realized I ain't calling him. But I'll tell you what, if he does call, I'm not going to mute. You can hear at least half of the conversation. Because I'm going to rip this guy a new ass. I am sick and tired of this case getting put off and put off and put off because this asshole can't show up in court. And then his attorney, which is probably a public derender, Judge, I'll make sure he's here next week. You've been saying that every hearing. He ain't coming to court because he don't want to go to jail. Plain and simple. Because the judge is going to put him in jail. So he's just going to keep avoiding this until he gets a warrant and gets picked up. Then he'll bond out and drive home. He don't care. I guarantee, I would bet my next Social Security check he's driving right now. And I would bet the car is still uninsured. And unless the car was given to them scot-free, it's got to have a mortgage on it because it's a 2023. And any lending company that doesn't demand an insurance policy, although I know how it works. You get one of these fly-by-night online insurance companies, you buy a 3-month policy. That way, when you're questioned, you have insurance. And then at the end of 3 months, it expires. Because I'll tell you what, we need to go to the system that they have over in the UK. If you are caught driving without insurance, your car is immediately seized and crushed. They don't care whether it's a 2001 Passat or a 2026 Rolls Royce. If it don't have insurance, it goes right to the crushing yard. And I have seen many videos of vehicles being picked up for no insurance, and the next thing you see is a little block of metal. We need that system here. Because it would be amazing how many people insure their cars. And I have argued and argued with my congresswoman. But like she said, every time she introduces a bill, it gets shot down. Yeah, because the lobbyists that are lobbying against this bill are stronger than the lobbyists that are lobbying for it. She's introduced the bill like 5 times, and it keeps getting shot down. And until Ohio takes a stand, this shit's going to continue. And people like me are getting penalized. Because I have never, from my first car, even taken it out in the street without insurance. I don't own the Passat, and it's been insured from day one. Mainly because the insurance companies don't ask for a title number. I wouldn't think. Now, of course, I've got liability. Because both of my vehicles would be total losses. Well, the shitbox is. Although I did buy a battery for it today. I didn't put it in yet. And the wonderful battery company that I deal with delivered it right to my door. Of course, he lives up the street, so when he goes home for lunch, he goes, okay, I'm going to bring the battery with me. You know, recently I took a visit to the cemetery. And it made me feel a bit uncomfortable. Until my GPS said, you've reached your location. That was scary. I shut that son of a bitch off right away. Everybody wonders, they ask me, why do you have a GPS when you're driving around in the city? I said, because I like to watch the little hot rod car driving down the road. Yeah, my GPS, you have a normal sedan, an SUV, a monster truck, a hot rod car, and a regular pickup truck. And you can bring it up on the screen, and as you're driving along, you can watch the little vehicle drive along for you. I think that's cool. I go, look, that's me. Although I have to put it back in the car. I had to buy a new power plug for it. The power plug went bad. So it's sitting here behind me. Not to mention I have to put my my fancy signal lights in. I forgot today. I've got them all charged up. Oh, shit. I forgot to send you the link. Let me make a note, Kathy. Sorry. I told you I was going to send it. Hang on. Damn it if I don't. Send Kathy door flasher Temu link. And I'll make sure it's right in front of me. And I'll send it tomorrow. See, if I don't write notes, my old-timer disease kicks in. Then I was watching more of Judge O'Donnell. Oh, I love that guy. He went ballistic on a guy today. No, it was a woman. She hasn't been drug testing. So he said, before court, go across the street and drug test. She comes back. I couldn't pee. So she was thinking, that's over with. No. Judge O'Donnell told her probation officer, give her a bottle of water. So she gave her a 16-ounce bottle of water. The woman drank it down, went across the street, came back to court. I can't pee. So he said, give her another bottle of water. Gave her another bottle of water. Waited half an hour, sent her across the street. I can't pee. Gave her another bottle of water. Sent her across the street. I can't pee. Gave her a fourth 16-ounce bottle of water. Now, this is in the span of 2 hours. She comes back the fourth time. I can't pee. Shit, one bottle, I'd be standing there cross-legged. Get the cup out, please. Get the cup out. It was obvious she had some nasty drugs in her system that she didn't want the court to find out about. So after the fourth time of, I can't pee, Judge O'Donnell said, well, you got one of two choices. Go across the street and pee, or go to jail. She was like, well, will I be bonded out in time to pick up my kids? And he said, well, I don't know. He looked up the bond, and it was $5,000, 10%. He raised it to $60,000 cash or surety. No 10%. I guess she wasn't out in time to pick her kids up from school. And right about then, you would have thought she'd have pissed her pants when he went, 60,000 cash or surety. No 10%. So her act blew up on her. Then all of a sudden she admitted, well, I got marijuana in my system. He goes, what? Too late now. Go with the bailiff. I guarantee she had more than that in her system. After 4 16-ounce bottles of water, she couldn't pee. Yeah. I bet as soon as she hit the jail cell, she pissed a river. Yeah, my GPS is a real old Garmin. And I mean real old. But it updates. I just loaded the recent update in it. But this thing is like from 2000, 2001. Yeah. I love it. As long as it'll keep taking the updates. And the nice thing about Garmin, you know, in the beginning when you buy them, you have to pay. When they reach a certain age, the updates are free. And every time I get in the car, I turn it on. Just to watch the little car drive down the street. Matter of fact, I've got the same unit in the shitbox. I've got the monster truck. That one's cool. Big honking wheels. Looks like Kathy's F-150. But it's blue. Matter of fact, I came across that by accident. I was screwing with the settings one day, and I can't remember what the setting reads. Something, you know, put your vehicle on the screen, or I start looking through and I was like, oh, is this cool? You know, cars, SUVs, pickup trucks. Oh boy, a monster truck. So the shitbox has a monster truck, and the Passat has a hopped up race car. Yep, so far no phone call. I knew he wasn't going to call. After I lambasted him in court, I knew he wasn't going to call. Because these prosecutors, you know, they think their shit don't stink. Because the first one actually said, how dare you speak to me that way? I said, pal, you and I put our pants on the same way. Don't start with me. You're starting with the wrong person. Then he told me, well, you don't understand the system. I said, I worked in the criminal division for the Cuyahoga County clerk before you were even thought of. Don't tell me I don't understand the system. No, he said that to make amends with the judge. When I said not one of the prosecutors returns a phone call. I'll call you. Does your number end in XXXXX? Yep. Then he said, I'll be calling from a blocked number. Well, there ain't no blocked numbers. Just for the hell of it, let me check my voicemail. Nope. No voicemails. Empty. That kind of makes me really want to be at the next hearing. Of course, you know, the judges shut you down. They don't want to hear it either. They don't care. They just want to get through their docket and go to lunch. But you know, it's bullshit to make you sit there. Because they have to check in with the sheriff. Because there's security outside the courtroom. Everyone has to check in. So once court starts, the sheriff, the deputy brings in a list of people that have checked in. All the judge has to do is look at it and go, oh, Mr. Asshole isn't here again. Mr. Grumpy, you can exit the courtroom. No. Make me sit there for an hour and 35 minutes. And then next week, there'll be another subpoena in the door. And those bailiffs are sneaky, too. They don't knock on the door because they don't want any controversy. They walk up, they stick it in the door real quick, and they run out to their car and leave. Because the subpoena for court before this one, I was sitting in the car. I had just come home. And he walked up the driveway, and when I opened the door, I scared the shit out of him. Are you so-and-so? I said, junior or senior? I don't know. Which one was involved in the accident? What's the date of the accident? I don't know. Maybe he was involved in an accident before his car got repoed. I don't know. They give me the date, and I went, yeah, it's me. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was downstairs getting the laundry out of the washer, and I heard the side door open and close real quick. And I was like, oh, Gofo brought me a package. Not goddamn court subpoena. Although I have to tell you, Gofo has been putting the packages in the door every single time. I guess all of a sudden they can read English. That was like my drug delivery today. The guy walks up to the front porch and he takes a picture of the sign that says, "Do not deliver packages here, deliver the side door." Then he takes a picture of the package inside the door. The side door. I'm going to call the pharmacy because the last 3 deliveries I haven't signed. And I was told they need a signature for every delivery. Evidently, the guy is scribbling my initials and then taking off. I had my CT scan today. Oh, for Christ's sake. Well, you could have figured that was coming. This guy is just going to be a total asshole right down the line. Thank God she's away from this idiot. There should be no reason for any contact between the two of them after this whatsoever. If I were her, I don't know. Did she swear out a PPO? I would swear out a PPO and then ask the judge to put a 50-mile radius on it. God, I remember several years ago, my ex-brother-in-law, him and his wife were going through a really nasty divorce. And he laid his hands on her. Now, they both lived in Columbus. She swore out a protection order with a 500-mile radius. I couldn't believe the judge actually signed it. He had to literally move. And the judge said, it better not be 498 miles. It better be like 501. Because I asked him, I said, are you sure that's not a misprint? 5 miles, 50 miles? Oh, no, it wasn't. 500-mile radius of her house. Good. Outstanding. That'll keep his ass away. Although she's got to make sure that she don't infringe on his radius there. Because he'll be watching. Oh, look. She drove down the street. Of course, being out in God's country where you are, not like you have a lot of side roads. Yeah, this is going to be just petty bullshit out of him. Because he wants the last word. I can see he's that type of person. He wants the last word all the time. Jackass. How close is he to her? Is there enough distance? I'm surprised the judge doesn't make him wear a GPS monitor on top of it. Just to ensure he stays in the exclusion zone. Yeah, I went in for my CT scan this morning. The guy comes out, calls me. We get in the room, and he goes, "My name is Orville. I'll be your CT technician." I says, "Oh, okay. My name is Grumpy, and I'll be your CT crabass. Just lay down on the machine, okay." They run you in and out a couple of times. You're watching that spinning wheel with the lights in it. Then all of a sudden it goes up to about 100 miles an hour. Take a deep breath and hold it. Okay, breathe. Okay, here we go again. Take a deep breath and hold it. Breathe. Holy shit. How many more times we gotta do this? No popcorn. No Cracker Jack. Nothing. And with CT scans, you don't even get the headphones. At least with the MRIs, you get the headphones and the music. In and out 4 times. Okay, you're done. Thank you. I'll get the results tomorrow. They'll be posted on my chart. I'll look at them and go, I can't figure this out for shit. Then the doctor will write me a detailed letter. And then I see him, I think next week. Or the week after. Because this one was for my oncologist. I think 2 weeks. And then dummy me, would you like a televisit? I went, nah. Would have saved me a trip. Matter of fact, I think tomorrow I'm going to call. Can I have a televisit, please? That way he can tell me what's going on over the phone and I don't have to drive out there. Yeah, the wonders of modern medicine. A televisit. That was like when I first came down with the damn UTI. I got a video visit. I get all adjusted. The doctor comes on and goes, "What's in the background?" I says, "It's the city of Cleveland." Although I didn't have the 2 stars, And I don't think the jackalope was making an appearance either. I had to get out of the way. See, look, Terminal Tower, BP Building, Federal Building. It is the crappiest looking building, that Federal Building. It's a half circle. The back end of that building is flat. And then the front has got that concave. That's where the IRS guys are too. I don't have to deal with them. They used to be down on West 3rd. And I'll never forget. I got called for an audit. It was back in the days when I had my ambulance company. And it said, bring all necessary records. So what I did, Kathy, you'll love this. I bought a 2-wheeler and I loaded my file cabinet up and put it in the back end of one of the ambulances, drove downtown, took the file cabinet up, went up to like the 3rd or the 4th floor, walked over to the IRS agent's desk that was doing the audit, and dropped the cabinet. Boom. He says, "What's this?" I said, "The letter says bring all records." There they are. Wait a minute, I'll unlock it for you. I said, "Go ahead, help yourself." He looked at me, looked at the file cabinet, partially opened one of the drawers. Audit complete. You don't know anything. Have a nice day. Thank you. Locked the file cabinet. Out the door I went. I wasn't going to dig through that cabinet and try to anticipate what he wanted. I just took the whole fucking cabinet. The look on his face when I dropped it next to his desk. What's this? It's a file cabinet. Yeah, but what is this? I pulled the letter out. I said, it said bring all appropriate records. There they are. Hold on, I'll unlock it. He wheeled over in the chair, opened the drawer. Audit complete. You don't know anything. Have a nice day. Okay. The look on his face was priceless. Drop that file cabinet. What's this? It's a file cabinet. Well, I know, but what is it? I pulled the letter out, went, you want all the records? Here they are. Oh, sorry. Wait, let me unlock it for you. Unlock the cabinet. He just slid over, pulled one drawer about halfway open, looked in and went, audit complete. You don't owe anything, sir. Good. And nobody could believe it. I told my friends, I said, yeah, I took the whole goddamn file cabinet. What happened? He looked in a drawer and went, you don't owe nothing. Here you go. Because I was prepared just to sit there. He'd asked me about certain, look, it's in there. You got 4 drawers. Look through them, buddy. He just closed that drawer. Everybody in the office looked at me when I wheeled that thing in. Because I got to the receptionist, I said, where's Agent Brown? Oh, he's at that desk over there. Okay. Right next to his desk. Thank God, because I was double parked downstairs. Brought the file cabinet in, slid it in the back of the ambulance, and went home. And I never had another IRS audit in my life. Evidently, he must have wrote on the file, don't fuck with him. But there was no way, because it would have been my luck. I'd have pulled a bunch of shit out. Well, you don't have this, and you don't have this. So I just took the whole file cabinet. That way he had everything he wanted. And when he realized it was going to take him a while to do an audit, he changed his mind. Okay, you're done. There you go. Thank you. I locked the cabinet, put the bungee cord around the cabinet and the hand truck, and out the door I went. The looks I got in the elevator. This isn't the freight elevator, sir. It's all right. I'm going down. I'm going home. I'm not moving in. That was in the days, Kathy, of the guy that operated the elevator. Stood downstairs. You got in the elevator, he closed the door. Back in the old days. Oh, Kathy, you'll love it. I was watching one of, Judge O'Donnell's courtrooms, and in between cases, the prosecutor, and she couldn't have been maybe her late 30s, and she was telling the defense attorney, because I guess they had a snow day. And she said, back in the day, we didn't have snow days. And she said, you'd walk out in the kitchen and There were 4 kids in the family. And she said the boots would be lined up with the Wonder Bread bags in them. I was like, Jesus, that's from my day. Yeah, she said all 4 pair of boots would be lined up with Wonder Bread bags in them. And she said her mother would make them put on gloves and then mittens. And she said the mittens had a string that went up one sleeve and came down the other so that they wouldn't get lost. I was like, boy, that's back in my time. Because I remember my mother had the mittens on a string. And just about every kid in class, their name written in their coat, their mittens on a string, boots with the Wonder Bread bags. You know, for the hell of it, I'm going to have to buy a loaf of Wonder Bread. Just so that I have a Wonder Bread bag. Because they still sell it. It's expensive. God. Wonder Bread versus nickels. Like twice the price. I remember the last time I needed buns and they were out of Nichols buns. Nichols buns are usually like $2 a pack. Goddamn Wonder Bread buns were almost $4 for 8 buns. I'm like, what are these made out of gold? Have the Trump stamp of approval on them? Oh, did you see the news today? As a matter of fact, the captain of the women's hockey team was on, I think, Good Morning America, because Trump slighted the female team. He made a phone call to the locker room and he invited them to the White House and to the State of the Union address. And then he made the comment, "Oh, I guess we have to invite the women too. I'll get impeached if I don't." And oh man, was she pissed. She said it was so disrespectful of him. And the women's hockey team refused to go to the White House. The whole team turned down the invitation. What? And then you talk about an asshole. He's got the whole men's Olympic team in the Oval Office. And what does he have for lunch? McDonald's. He ordered McDonald's instead of a really nice White House lunch. But yeah, he slighted the women's team when he invited the men and went, "Oh, I guess I have to invite the women. Otherwise, I'll get impeached." And the whole team, the whole women's team went, "We ain't going." Yeah, she was on, I think it's Good Morning America. Because they interviewed her. And did you really take a close look at the Olympic medals? You talk about something that looks like crap. You know, the last Olympics, they had fancy designs, and it's like a flat, and it's got the Olympic symbols and 2026, and then on the back, I can't remember what's on the back. Really garbagey looking medals. They look like an afterthought. Oh, wait a minute, we found these in a dumpster. They'll work. God, you would think that a country would want to show their pride for hosting the Olympics and design a really beautiful medal. She held that medal up, and I was like, I guess they didn't finish engraving it. And then they're breaking right where the neck strap attaches. They're all breaking. I can't remember how many broken medals are being repaired right now. Absolutely disgusting. Yeah, I can't remember which American athlete, after she won the gold and after the podium ceremony, she stepped down, and she was she had the American flag wrapped around her and was jumping around, and the medal just it fell on the fucking ground. And then the Olympic Committee said, "Well, you shouldn't be jumping around with them medals. Everybody jumps around with them. Jesus Christ, they're happy to win them." But them medals look like crap. They look like a fucking afterthought. Well, let's see. We built the Olympic Village. We set the mountain up for skiing, and oh shit, we got to make medals. There, that looks okay. They look like shit. And then, don't they? You know, they make proofs first. Don't they like shake them on the? Oh, these break easy. Oh, okay, we got to re-engineer it. No, they wait till they break. Then they have to send them out for repair. But I'll tell you what, I am very proud of the women's hockey team for turning down the White House invite. First of all, they don't need McDonald's. And second of all, to be treated like an afterthought. When the women won first before the men. And I can't remember her name, the captain of the women's Olympic hockey team. She's like one of the most decorated Olympians like ever, as far as, hockey. Well, 4 more years, and then we get to watch the Summer Olympics. Or is it 2? I think it's 2, isn't it? I know they changed it. I think it's every 2 years. So in 2 years, 2028 will be the Summer Olympics, which are kind of boring. Although I like to watch the women's pole vault. Man, some of them women are tough to deal with. Wow. I could never get into that. Run down, put the stick in a hole, and then push yourself over the bar. Whose idea was that? Hillary Knight, yeah. That's right, yeah. Yeah, she didn't mince any words on Good Morning America. And then to sit down for a presidential dinner of McDonald's. Although, did you see that McDonald's is coming out with a new sandwich? It's called the McArch. And it's a half pounder. Instead of a quarter pounder, it's a half pounder. $9 just for the sandwich. And then Burger King is updating the Whopper. Better buns. They're going to a better bakery. And better mayo, probably Hellman's. And better meat. So that goes to show you've been eating cooked shoe leather. Yeah, it's going to have better meat, better mayo, and a better bun. And it's coming in a box. No more wrapper. The Whopper is coming in a box. I might have to try one. Because I like Whoppers. I've always liked the Whopper. I remember back in the day, you got 2 for the price of 1. Although I've got to check out Rallies. Because they've had commercials on for Checkers. And they've got this new, they call it a smash burger. It's a double cheeseburger with all kinds of goodies on it. I'm going to have to see if my Rallies has a smash burger. Because it looks pretty tasty on TV. Although I like Rallies because they offer a lot of bargains. Yeah, they said that originally they tested the McArch in Australia and the UK. And it was so popular that it's a permanent menu item. But they're saying it could be a limited time only in the United States. Yeah, it's called the McArch. And it's a half-pound burger. You get 2 quarter-pound patties and 3 slices of cheese. Yeah, be on the lookout, Kathy. Let me know if Burger King has the new Whopper. And I don't know if you go to McDonald's, but see if they have a McArch down there by you. It's supposed to start hitting the McDonald's next month in March. But Burger King supposedly is making the change right away. So when they said better mayo, they're probably going with Hellman's and not that generic crap that they've been using for years. Because they said higher quality bun. They're going to a completely new bakery. Better mayo. Better meat. Which means now it'll be 50% beef instead of 25%. Well, it didn't say that in the article, but it's been probably been about a good 5 years since I had a Whopper. Oh, I have both. Sometimes I get a taste for Miracle Whip, and sometimes I get a taste for Hellman's, but I have both in my fridge. Because with certain lunch meat, it tastes better with Miracle Whip, and with certain lunch meat, it tastes better with Hellman's. So, yeah, I was raised on both. Then I'll never forget when my mother tried that shit Hellman's Spin Blend. Oh, was that nasty crap. Oh, my God. I don't know. Do they still make Spin Blend? I don't pay attention. Yeah, it was like a mixture of mayonnaise and salad dressing or something. I don't know. It tasted like shit. I could always tell when my mother snuck that shit on a sandwich. How come you didn't eat your lunch? Because it tastes like shit. You put that Spin Blend crap on it. I ain't eating it. Well, I'm not wasting bread. Well, then you eat the fucking sandwich. I ain't eating it. You never heard of Spin Blend? Maybe they don't carry it down in your area. I can't remember what it was mixed with, but it tasted like shit. It's a 2-tone green label. And fancy writing, Spin Blend. Once you've seen it, you can't miss it. Although I've been missing it because I haven't really paid attention in the mayo aisle because I go down the aisle, Hellman's. I don't care what it costs. I got to go to the store tomorrow and get more crinkleberry juice. I'm on my last bottle. Whoa, that had to kick up your taste buds. Horseradish. Oy, oy, oy. The only time I put horseradishes on anything is if it's corned beef. Or pastrami. Although sometime I'll put horseradish on my hot dogs. Kick them up a little bit. Well, no phone call. And if he calls tomorrow, I'm going to tell him, hey, you were supposed to call last night, dickhead. I knew he wouldn't call. He only said that to impress the judge. Oh, I'll call you. It'll be from a blocked number. Well, there ain't no blocked numbers come across my phone. Asshole. Oh, you're a little early. The belly with legs. I know you're starving. Yeah, I know. Gives me that look. Like he's gonna fall over from hunger. Yeah, I got your SpongeBob SquarePants too. Quit bringing it in the bedroom, asshole. Wake up in the morning and there they are. Boom, boom. Right next to me. I don't understand. Out of all the cat toys, and believe me, my cat's got cat toys. Both of the SpongeBob SquarePantses. The only ones he messes with. All right. I'll feed you. Let me find my outro music. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Been another fun night. We know where, right here, WDWL TV, home of not one, but 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And we have the appearance by the Grumpy Jackalope. And with that, have a wonderful rest of your evening. And we will meet again tomorrow night. And with that, there'll be the 2 obligatory see yas. See ya 1. And see ya number 2. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.